Today's podcast is brought to you by a company who we have been using for years and takes up significant shelf space inside of our own kitchen. Biosteel Sports Nutrition.
It was a product created out of necessity 8 years ago and is trusted by athletes like Connor McDavid, Tyler Seguin, Brooke Henderson, Rosie MacLennan, and Andrew Wiggins.
They're really a leader in sports drinks for everyone from professional athletes to everyday champions.
Understand something, guys. Nothing worth ever having in this world comes easy.
Do what these champions doing if you're going to be a champion.
You control your outcome.
Who am I?
I'm a champion.
Welcome back, champions. Brand new Biosteel Breakdown. As always, so happy to have you here. One of these days, I'm going to come up with a different way to start this, and it's going to be awesome. But in the meantime, that's what I got. Yeah. We had a couple of crazy episodes back to back. Make sure you checked out our two-part series that we did over the last 2 weeks. I think it's really interesting. There was a ton of knowledge. We wanted to step away from nutrition this week, get into some strength training, mix it up, some variety. Yeah, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
Anything to add?
No, let's get into it.
All right.
What are we talking about today, eh?
We're talking about resistance training. We're talking about getting jacked. No, we're talking about resistance training. So that's the topic for today, which is a super broad topic, but we're going to bring it down into something manageable.
Okay.
Okay.
What is resistance training?
Resistance training is any style of training that utilizes some sort of opposing force or resistance. So that could be your body weight, that could be some sort of band, that could be a free weight, that could be a machine, that could be, I don't know, a kettlebell. The list goes on and on and on. It could be sand, water, whatever, something, well, not really water. But it could be like I said, like a sandbag or a medicine ball or anything that provides some sort of resistance that your body needs to overcome to perform the movement. So that is resistance training.
Okay. Why should we resistance train?
So there's a variety of reasons why I think everyone should resistance train. And I think sometimes there's a bad connotation that comes up with resistance training. So when we think resistance training, we conjure up this image of this gigantic meathead smashing weights off of the ground with his nose bleeding, basically, right? We have this. Is that accurate?
Yeah. Eddie.
If
you haven't watched that documentary, just FYI, you should.
Born Strong, and
there's a new one that we
Born
just
Strong
watched.
is the new one.
Okay.
And then Eddie, I think it's called Eddie the Strongman.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's this gentleman's quest to deadlift 1,000 pounds or plus 1,000 pounds. But that's kind of the image that we bring up. So when you say, oh, you need to resistance train, you get all these reactions like, oh, I don't want to get too big, especially in females, or I don't want to get too bulky. I don't want to look jacked. I just want to tone up. I just want to be in shape, which is understandable. I get it. But that is not necessarily accurate. Like that doesn't have to be what resistance training is. So why should you do it? Now I should probably answer the question that you asked me because I didn't there. You should do it first. The first and I think maybe most important reason is injury management. So picking stuff up and putting it down and picking heavy stuff up, or at least moderately heavy stuff up and putting it down goes a long way in preventing injuries. Our body is amazing at overcoming deficiencies. We're amazing at avoiding certain things that hurt us, but ultimately you're going to get injured at some point in your life. So whether it's a strain or a sprain playing some sort of sport, or whether it's walking out of your house and you slip on ice and you reach back and hurt your wrist or your elbow or your shoulder or whatever, you can't avoid risk. You can't go through life just in a bubble completely. At least I don't think you can. And strength training helps prevent those things. It makes you resistance training helps strengthen your body so that you're resilient and you're robust and you can respond to those things. So a good example, my grandmother slipped walking out of her house. This happened last winter. And my grandmother doesn't do a lot of resistance training, but perhaps if she did some low-level resistance training, she would have had more stability in her legs and hips. And she would have been stable on the ground when she walked out and not been so unsteady and then not slipped. And perhaps if she did, then she would have had the mobility and the ability to recover after she slipped. So instead of falling, her foot would have just slid and then came back in. So maybe it would have, maybe not, but that's something that could have happened. we have a lot of dentists, and I don't know why this example sticks out, but we have a lot of dentists as clients. And when they come in, there's a lot of emphasis put on their shoulders and necks because they're always up in this position working inside people's mouths. And it seems like a nothing movement, and it seems like a very low level movement. But if you spend 8, 9, 10 hours with your arm up in this position, you're going to cause some damage, and you're going to do damage to your shoulder, damage to your elbow, to your wrist, to your neck. And then that's going to influence your ability to work. And then if you can't work because you have a shoulder impingement, then you've lost the ability to provide for yourself and your family. So resistance training keeps you in the game.
Keeps you in the game.
It keeps you in the game. And it's good for your quality of life on the whole. If you are strong, if you are a strong person, if you're a robust person, then anything that you have to do, it becomes easier. So like going to the airport, for example, you can pick up your suitcase and put it in and take it out and drag it across, and you're not out of breath, and you're not tired, you're not fatigued, you're not sweating through your shirt like I do all the time.
That's just anyway. We're training.
And these tasks can be performed over and over again, and they're easier and easier for you to do.
So how would one start to resistance train? Like if they haven't done anything, like what would be a good start?
With your body weight.
Yeah. Awesome.
With your body weight. So you don't have to go to a gym. You don't have to go to a gym. You don't have to pay a trainer. You don't have to join a class. You can go on YouTube. You don't even need to go on YouTube. You can start to squat and do push-ups and lunges and crawl around and do all these different things with your body weight alone in your house. And then if I was going to say you're to add one piece of equipment, you should buy a TRX. TRX doesn't sponsor the podcast. I don't get any money. Syl doesn't get any money for saying that, but they make the best suspension trainer in the world. And it's these two handles, and it attaches onto a wall or the back of a door frame. And I would start with
trees.
that. Yeah, trees, anything. You can go to the park, you can grab a bar, you can do some rows on the bar, you can do pull-ups on the bar. So it doesn't have to be, you don't have to go into the gym, you don't have to be intimidated. You can start in your living room, you can start with your body weight, and you can use some creativity on how you make it more challenging. So it gets difficult, or it becomes too easy and you need to add weight. Well, I don't know, maybe you have a kid around that you can pick up and hold while you do the squats. Right?
Yeah, or like food items.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
cans.
yeah,
and stuff.
right. That's Syl. You should see Syl farmer walk with all those cans coming back from the grocery store.
Totally.
But that's how I would suggest starting. Start with your body weight. Progress from there. You don't just start.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Just get going.
Just get going.
Just get going.
That's it. Anything
else?
That's it. Keeping it short and sweet today.
Short and sweet.
You need to strength train. You need to pick stuff up and you need to put it down, and it's going to help you with your quality of life. And anyone that says otherwise, I would love to sit here and debate them.
Perfect.
Call out. Oh, also go biosteel.com.
Biosteel.com. Code CHAMP Lifestyle. Capital C, capital L. You'll get 15% off their amazing products.
Like this awesome blue raspberry.
So new.
So new.
So blue.
So new, so blue. I actually think that's their new tagline instead of drink the pink.
Yeah.
Hashtag so new, so blue.
We'll definitely try for that one.
You heard it here first. As always, thank you for being here. Check back last week. Brand new Biosteel Breakdown.